Christopher will make a good father one day. Very good with children.
And he's 93.
I remember Christopher as being a very fun-loving child, always up to mischief as a youngster, very kind, very generous. Christopher liked music, played the trumpet as I do, and he liked sport. My name is Paul Cullington, and I live in a village near Stamford, and I lost my son Christopher 3 years ago to solvent abuse. It all seems a little bit blurred right now, but at the time we were living in Peterborough, my wife and I, and Christopher had moved up to the northeast of England, and he was living in a small village in East Durham with his mother. Now, his mum had decided that she would move back to Northamptonshire. I could see a change in Christopher when he left the village and he moved to a fairly large town. He got mixed in with the crowd, as a lot of children do, which I would say was not what I would expect from him, shall we say. However, his mum and I both tried our best to steer him in the right direction. She would frequently call me up and say, "Paul, can you come over?" We had a good relationship. "Can you come over and have a word with Christopher? You know, he's misbehaving, he's, you know, not in with the right crowd," and, you know, we suspected everything was not well. On the evening in question, he was walking with a friend, and 2 or 3 friends who he'd gone to school with were by the local shop. They called Christopher over to him, and Christopher went across, and they were sniffing solvents. They asked Christopher if he would like a hit, as they call it, and Christopher duly obliged, unfortunately, and within 30 seconds, Christopher was dead. The police knocked at our door around 10 o'clock on the evening. It happened around 8:30, and the police knocked the door. My wife and I were both in bed, they just asked if they could come into the house, and we said yes. My wife said, "Is there something wrong? I feel there's something wrong, tell me." She got all of a panic, you know. And I said, "Yeah, come in, fellas." Went into the living room, and they just said, "Look, we've got some bad news, I'm afraid. You know, I've got to tell you, your son Christopher died earlier on this evening." And it was like somebody just hit me with a sledgehammer. You know, we couldn't believe it. My wife screamed. And it was a dreadful, dreadful experience, as you can imagine. I was disappointed, I was angry. You know, I felt I'd been deprived of my son, you know, the future grandchildren, seeing them grow up, seeing them get married and, you know, move into a career and be happy. I felt very deprived of all those things. I think about Christopher every single day of my life. There isn't a day when I don't think about Christopher, and I would say when I'm sat at home on an evening, just relaxing, he comes to my mind, and so I think about him constantly. What would I say to him? I'd say, Christopher, be careful, and be careful. I don't know what I'd say to him, to tell you the truth. Just be very, very careful. You know, watch who you're knocking about with. Don't do anything silly. Stay healthy. You know, always think about the future, and don't live for today. Think about the future.